of course, there are different ways of looking at it. Right? Denominations, they are from the most radical asceticism, going to the monastery and not getting married, right up to the whole idea that the Mormon Church that can marry as many as you want. So all these things depends, like you said, interpretation. Who interprets this? And the more people start thinking of the human nature, what is human being, and what is the relationship of the human being to the divine, in the context of changing times. This is one. Again, changing times. Technology and culture changes as economic condition changes, right? Why people in those times, the priest class were created, rose out of the idea that the priests are the ones who control the water, irrigation. In ancient times, Mesopotamia, China, Egypt, the dominant economic activity is agriculture, and agriculture requires irrigation, and particularly those the societies that uses the highlands, the mountains. You need to capture water right up from the mountaintop, and then to control this like a reservoir. And the priest class, the priest is the one who interprets the behavior of the weather and say that this God is angry today. This is a rain God is going to has spoken to me. He said that rain is going to come in a few weeks. So when that thing comes, it is a control mechanism, and all these things are control mechanism to release the water so that society can continue to survive through agricultural means. Water is essential, and by having the power, by virtue of having the power to control, and then once that, because the priest class is the literate class, then you start conjuring or coming up or authoring the ideas of God, and then started to pass this down to the people who do not understand what is happening to them in terms of the forces. So that fundamentally is one of the ways to look at the rise of religion. Okay, it is religion is something that is that's needed at that time, and also not just that, but also rulers plays a very important role in developing religion. If you see in all traditional societies, it is the priest class and the ruling class that they working close together, to control the masses. Wherever the masses, slaves, people who do not have any land to call their own. But if you look at the Egyptian gods, for example, manifested as human beings. Well, supposedly the Egyptian kings are manifestations of God. And in many religions, the human beings are considered the representation of God on earth. You could see this in medieval Europe. You could see this in Japan. You could see this in many places. Even in fact in China. Because the whole idea that the ruler rules by the decree of divinity. Right? And no one should question, because questioning the ruler, questioning the kings, questioning the monarchs are like questioning the will or the word of God. Right?
Now, since you mentioned this, I was watching something on TV, and they said how the Greeks, they used to use early engineering to control the mass. Like on the temple, they'll put like certain things, and they use the engineering system, so people will believe that the gods are really doing it, when the priest was actually the one who had control over it. So
very good. Good point. What the movie was it Apocalypto, the ones that talk about the human sacrifice during the Aztec, the Mayan civilization. That is a very interesting example of how the priest class and the rulers work hand in hand in offering sacrifice in the form of human beings. So that's the beginning. The entire structure, the architecture is built on probably thousands of human beings that are buried there. They're just being pushed from that building to be buried, and the heart taken and sacrificed to the gods. And one condition of sacrifice is you have to have either a very young man or a virgin, probably. Okay, go ahead.
Talking about the priesthood, they were leaders, they were rulers, and I was in the book, and all of those religions or philosophical thinking, those priests, they were that type of rulers in the society. And if a priest were a ruler, it doesn't matter if they were married or single. Mm-hmm. But the thing here is how they are going to perform their service. I think that the point is serving the people. Mm-hmm. Serve the people. Even God gives the revelation on how to do these things. He is a servant to serve the people. Sure. But if they commit a sin, or if they do wrong things, that's a very human nature. I think that's why they were institutionalized. They married, for to be married. In my opinion, it doesn't matter if he's married or not.
Like I said, that's a very many ways to look at all these interpretations. What is the religious of the religious class, and the whole notion of idea of marriage itself, being married itself. This transcends in all religions. Should a priest get married? Should a religious leader get married? And will that interfere with the job he is doing for the divine? Right? One last question, and then we're going to move on. Yeah.
Are priests married to God?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Is that the question again?
Are priests married to God?
Okay, the question is, are priests married to God? That's an interesting question. All right, this is what this is what we're going to ask the group to explore. This is what we're going to ask the group to explore. One of the things, when you're doing your research on this, what is the whole idea of a priest, and what is the relationship between the priest and the God? Or it's just human being carrying out the will of God. If priests are married to gods, then it could be like the Greek, the Greek gods. So, right, one last.
Is the science and religion actually complement one another? Because at one point, the priests, they were the ones who hold all the wisdom, and eventually it got passed down.
The question is, science compatible with religion?
Right.
Okay, this is a very modern question that you ask. We're talking here about two things that have developed through two different historical periods. Is science a culture in itself that can never agree with religion, or is science complementary? Right? Think of the idea of what science is. Science is the ability for one to go to the 5 different processes. For example, to ask a question, what is happening? What is the phenomena? Why is this happening? And then to collect data, right? To collect data so that you can test whether this is why, to find an explanation. If you say that there's thunderstorm, there's going to be it's going to be rain tonight, then you want to test whether it's true or not. Then you look at the data from the weather channel, for example.